What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. As always, the commish, the doc's with me. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Ready to talk some football.
Yep, good
as
to hear.
always.
That was just kind of laughing, despite the fact that we're both rocking NBA gear today. This is a Dynasty football show. NBA playoffs are jumping off. So kind of in the spirit for that too. Have you watched much? Have you watched any NBA playoff games?
Yeah. There's been some good series. I've enjoyed the Celtics Nets one. Yeah, I wish the Cavs weren't. Obviously, probably would have been had they not been bit by the injury bug the second half of the year. But
yeah,
young team, they'll be back. I've just been enjoying the hoops.
Yeah, just toss it out there, man. Evan Mobley was robbed for sure.
Yes.
Should have been the rookie of the year. Before we jump into today's show, just wanted to pass it along. 15 years in business now. Just hit 700 Dynasty leagues. We've never folded a single one. Take a look in the description down there. Got a link to our homepage, a link to the Dynasty Orphanage. Great way to jump in, get your feet wet, man. Teams are half price as the previous owners paid your deposit. Buy a team today, bring an orphan home, love on it, nurture it. You can be making trades tonight. So definitely wanted to pass that along. Also redrafts, and there's a couple before June 1st. Definitely check those out. But starting June 1st all the way to the first football game, we run them every single night. Either I'll be your commissioner or the doc. One of us will be your commissioner, man. So can't wait to see you guys for those. Definitely check those out. Today, going to be talking about running backs that we think are undervalued in Dynasty football. So just kick it over to you, Doc. Who was your first running back, undervalued Dynasty running back?
So this guy is J.K. Dobbins. That's my guy. I had projected that he would possibly finish top 5 last year. It was one of my bold predictions. And I feel like right around now, he's being drafted as like the 15th, 16th running back. And I think that's ridiculous. If people are valuing him similarly, which they probably are coming off an injury, I mean, everybody's already, they're always looking to move on to the next thing when the guy doesn't pop off in the first couple of years. But, he's still 23 years old. He was really good as a rookie. From a longevity standpoint, yeah, he got hurt last year, but that's 1 year less of, wear and tear on the wheels there. So, I mean, I just think everything's kind of in the right direction for him to have a good season and kind of return himself to that upper echelon of dynasty running backs where he kind of found himself a year ago. Not to say that the guys valued ahead of him aren't better. I mean, they very well could be, but for a guy with that much upside in a dynasty setting, I'm kind of surprised at how he's being viewed.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And I think something that comes to mind, and I was actually, we did a draft show and I was talking about, guys, based on their destination, kind of leapfrogging other guys who we had thought coming into the draft were better than them. I actually think this is the DeAndre Swift here this year. And I had just looked, I was just over at Dynasty League Football looking at rankings. And I'm pretty sure DeAndre Swift, a top 10 Dynasty player in non-superflex leagues currently. I think it's like running back 3 or 4. I mean, you don't have to go back very long. I mean, J.K. Dobbins was drafted ahead of Swift in most cases. Destination. And I think all those things still apply. Although, I mean, obviously Swift worth a lot more currently. But I do think Dobbins, all the reasons that he was drafted ahead of him still exist. And I still think this guy could potentially be a top 5 running back in the NFL. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any difference from this upcoming offseason to last year's.
Exactly.
And he's being talked about completely differently. So, right. I mean, it's a great opportunity to get him on the cheap.
Right. I say there is one difference that I like that I was thinking when you were talking to. So I think he's coming back to a better Baltimore Ravens offense.
Yeah,
I think Mark Andrews took a big step forward last year. And then Bateman, man, I really like Bateman in that passing game too. I think overall, Dobbins is coming back, if healthy, into a better Baltimore Ravens offense this year.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think they can look at him and say, we need you, man. We need this guy to be our
Yeah.
number one. And not that they did it last year, but I think you could clearly see it, how much they missed Dobbins last year. So,
Yeah, definitely.
all
So
right.
I think they're going to ride him too. I mean, they
Yep.
might as well. He doesn't have as much, tread on the tires as he would have,
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. And I'm just going to toss out one of mine. I'm not going to go too in depth about this guy. If you guys have watched the show before, this is probably a guy I've talked about a little bit too much. And honestly, I do have a lot of shares of him. So maybe I'm just trying to bring this to light, man, and make this happen. But I don't think so, man. I think he's a guy. When I look around the landscape of the NFL, I think not only do I love the team he's on, and I guess what I'm getting at is when I look around the landscape of the NFL, a backup running back position, and I'm looking like, where do I look? And I say, hey, I really, really like this guy's situation. Not only do I love his team, but the guy that's in front of him, I don't have a ton of faith in at the moment. I don't think there's a ton of reason to. I think he's still the clear number one. My guy's Ronald Jones, man, in Kansas City. He's just another guy I think extremely underrated, a guy I think that you could get extremely cheap. And like I said, when I look at the path, me and Doc talk about the path to fantasy relevancy all the time. I'm not a big Clyde Edwards-Helaire guy. We'll see how that pans out. I'm not saying I'm off the bus either. I just don't know. I don't think he's been that impressive in his first 2 seasons in the NFL. Ronald Jones, man, they're basically just about the same age. Ronald Jones was only drafted a couple picks after where Clyde Edwards-Helaire went.
Right.
And I just think, who knows? I think you could pay a very minimal price for this guy. Could he end up the starter in Kansas City? I don't know for sure, but I do think he's going to get some carries. I think he's going to be probably the goal line back. And here's something else I've been thinking about too. I think we're going to see a little bit different of a Kansas City team this year. Tyreek Hill's not there. I think, and I'm not saying they're not going to be explosive, but I don't think it's going to be come out 2-3 minutes down the field, another touchdown. This Kansas City offense is going to have to grind it out a little bit more. So I see more carries for the running backs in Kansas City this year. Ronald Jones, man, I think he's a guy you can get cheap. That's one of my guys, man.
Yeah, I love that take. I love that point. And I've no one's loved Clyde more than I have, but I'm not a fool. It's not working out. He can't stay healthy. They don't seem to use him the ways they should. It's just not working. So I don't know that Ronald Jones will beat him out to be the starter, but I think there's definitely a good shot that he's going to get a lot of carries and a lot of work in the Chiefs offense, which, it's not as good without Tyreek Hill, but it's still one of the better offenses in the league.
For sure.
So,
and I just want to say,
I like it.
Check it out. This year, over the last 2 years, Kansas City Chiefs running backs will touch the ball more than they have in the last 2 seasons. I believe that with all my heart, man.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
All right. Anybody else, Doc?
Real quick, for the same reasons as Dobbins, basically, Travis Etienne. Ton of hype last year. He got hurt, missed the season. Again, he's rated way too low for a guy with that much upside. He was rated higher last year. What's changed? The Jaguars are in a better position than they were a year ago. I don't understand. So he's worth going out to get. I would say that's a real lottery ticket. He could end up way up the boards depending on how this year goes. So
I'm with you. The only drawback, I hate that James Robinson's still around.
Yeah.
Same old story there, but I'm right with you, man. This guy was universally the 1.4, 1.5 pick last year.
Right.
Yes, I would much rather have Javonte this year. And I think, that was a mistake in last year's rookie draft. Doesn't change the fact that, the guy was a first round pick, number 25 overall. I love, and a little different, obviously not Burrow, Chase, wide receiver, quarterback. I love that they're Clemson teammates. I do think, Lawrence is going to look to get ETN involved in the passing game every chance he gets.
Absolutely.
So, man, I'm expecting a big bounce back for him too. And if everything goes right, man, to be one of the leading PPR backs, man. I think this guy could flirt with, 80 catches out the gate if he's healthy this year. So
it should be. I really like the idea of Lawrence, sophomore slump. It wasn't great in his first year. having a guy that he's played with for 3 years already as a guy that he can just kind of dump it to when he's in trouble.
Man.
Love that.
Love it. Me too, man. All right. And I'm going to move on to my last underrated running back, a guy that I have never really been that high on since he came into the league. But I am this year, man. And that's going to be Josh Jacobs for your Las Vegas Raiders. Just a couple things, man, I wanted to point out. Only 24 years old, man, going into his 4th season. Definitely think, age-wise, not a concern in dynasty football at 24 years old. Something very impressive that I seen out of Josh Jacobs last year. In his first 2 seasons in the league, he had 53 receptions. Last year, he won up that in 1 season and had 54 catches out of the backfield. So definitely a positive sign there. And I think this is something you said quite a bit, Doc. Josh Jacobs, prior to last year, man, pretty touchdown dependent at times. But he is a guy that can score, man. In his first 3 years, he's had 28 touchdowns. And this is my prediction for this offense this year. Huge upgrade, obviously, when they got Devontae Adams.
Yep.
I think this, Raiders offense is going to be on a whole nother level this year. The touchdown opportunities for a guy that's already done well in scoring touchdowns are just going to go through the roof. My prediction for Josh Jacobs this year, I don't think he'll pass Derrick Henry if Derrick Henry's healthy, like in touchdowns. But I think coming into the end of the season, if both these guys are healthy, I think it'll be like a 1-2 race for touchdown leader. I could see that with Jacobs this year in that offense. I think he's going to take a huge step forward this year. For me, it's Josh Jacobs, man. He's not being rated high enough in this new offense.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I mean, I've been publicly against Josh Jacobs for basically since he came into the league. But I do think, for the reasons you mentioned and just adding Josh McDaniels into the equation, I think he's going to use him a lot better than he was used before. I think he'll get him more work in the passing game too. And I love the take. I think he's moving in the right direction, whereas it wasn't looking good, in the middle of last year.
All right, good stuff, man. That's 4 running backs, man, we think are undervalued in dynasty football. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, love for you to come be a part of the Masters family. 700 dynasty leagues, redrafts every single day from June 1st all the way to kickoff, man. I don't know what else you guys could want. 2 of the best commissioners in the world running your leagues.
Yes.
Any last words, Doc?
No. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching, guys.